today's episode of Knob Twisting with the Artifakt Lo-Fi Elements, we are going to take a look at the tape engine. So the tape engine just gives you all the great effects that you could do with vintage tape machines. So let's do a knob by knob tour of the tape engine in Artifakt. Here we go. So here's my dry signal. The wet. And the first thing you're going to hear is that sort of slapback chorus type sound. And that is because the very knob controls the offset between the dry and the wet signal. So if you're using it with the mix knob, now the mix knob just controls the ratio between the completely dry and wet signals. So if I set that about 50-50 and I turn this all the way down, so that's as tight as you can go between the wet and the dry signal, you're going to get more of a flanger feel. But if I turn that up and make that space wider, it gets more chorusy. Okay, now to the bandwidth control. Now this controls the type of time-based effect that we're using. On high, that is dual delay, so that's the most standard. So we move to medium, it's a ping-pong slapback sound, so you're going to hear more of a back and forth bouncy feel on your wet signal. If I move all the way down to low, that is through zero flange. So now I'm going to get more of that phase cancellation within the modulation. So let's go back to the dual delay. Next up is the destruct knob. Now that is just my tape saturation. So if I set it all the way down, it's a cleaner feel. If I turn it up, it's a little more overdriven. If I turn it all the way up, it becomes more like an overdrive. So let's set it between, so we hear both the wet and the dry, and set the very knob back so you get kind of a slapback lead sound. But I like to turn it down a little bit, get more of a subtle sound. Okay, finally the modulation knob, the mod knob. So this actually controls 3 different parameters depending on where this toggle switch is set. All the way to the left controls the modulation rate, the middle controls the modulation depth, and at the end is the modulation shape. Now what that does is it increases the tape noise. So basically it's like as you turn to the right, you're getting more of an old tape sound. It's like gets more crinkly. So let's set this, the mix to 100% wet, turn this down so you can really hear it. A little subtler. Turn it up, it gets a little wilder. We'll turn that down to more of a moderate level. And finally, we have the tap tempo switch, which controls the rate of the modulation. Slow it back down. If I hold on to it, it's into self-oscillation. And that is the tape effect. We'll see you next time.